Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome back to Vanguard In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the MP40 two-shot killer, which is probably the best overall SMG in the game. And of note, most of the gameplay you're going to see in today's video is the weapon in three-shot mode. So when I was getting the gameplay for this episode weeks ago, I thought to myself, yeah, this is going to get patched in no time. This is definitely going to be like a week 1, week 2 patch. This is going to get fixed up. There's no reason for me to get a whole bunch of gameplay kneecapping people because this will be fixed, right? Well, joke's on me. It's still in the game, it's still super powerful, but my gameplay is a little bit less representative today. So I do want to give a huge shout out to Exclusive Ace again for providing me stats for this year's In Depth. He's linked down there below in the description. You can always use my creator code in the Call of Duty store if you're getting microtransactions or battle passes or anything like that. It does make this video sponsored by Activision, but let's move on to the real sponsor today. And today's sponsor is Astro Gaming, because if you want to immerse yourself in the game, there's a much better way to do it than green screening yourself into the loading menu. You can pick yourself up a pair of Astro A40 TR headsets for 25% off on Black Friday. They're the industry standard headset for a reason. The audio quality is fantastic, and because the mix amp they have allows you to use Discord and your console at the same time. Historically speaking, Astro headsets are also strong enough to survive even the most vicious of attacks from Japanese Shiba Inus. So this Black Friday weekend and upcoming Cyber Monday, everything on the Astro Gaming website is going to be 25% off if you use code Drifter, and free shipping on orders over $30, which is like basically every headset on there. So if you want to get some high quality headsets for yourself or your significant other this holiday season, you should jump on down to the description, click that first link, go to Astro Gaming and pick up some A40s. All right, we're back to the main in-depth episode now. I hope that you check out Astro Gaming. They've been supporting me for a decade. I've been using their headsets since the dawn of time. They're kind of the industry standard gaming headset for a reason, and they're on a massive sale right now. So let's talk about the MP40. The MP40 is probably the overall best SMG in Call of Duty Vanguard, and it's also very versatile and consistent. That's part of its best component. It's not best time to kill, it's not best in a situation, it's overall really good in most situations. And uniquely with certain attachments, the MP40 can get two-shot kills to the legs or arms, which is very goofy, but it shreds that time to kill down to almost nothing. So let's talk about the base damage profiles here. With the regular MP40 with no goofy attachments or anything, your base damage on the weapon is 24, 18, and 17. Now that is going to be the limb damage. If you're shooting people in the torso, there is a multiplier on there, so your torso damage is going to be 36, 28, 21, which means that in most of your engagements with this weapon, it's going to be a 3 to 4 shot kill, assuming that you're landing a couple of torso shots, and that's what most people aim at, so that's what most of you are going to experience, is getting 3-shot kills with the MP40. However, you can also stack some goofy attachments to cause it to deal over 50 damage to the limbs. These attachments are the VDD 189mm short barrel. It gives you less damage fall off at long range, but most importantly increases your limb damage, but it completely gets rid of your headshot multiplier. Now that won't matter because we're about to put another attachment on there, Hollow Point, which will increase the limb damage again, and then we're going to put one more attachment on there, the 8mm 32 round mags. It adds just another point of damage to get it up high enough to get that 2-shot to kill. Now this one unfortunately does have a lot of downsides, as you can see, with recoil and accuracy, but that's kind of the price you pay to make a 2-shot kill super fast TTK kind of weapon. It fires at 600 rounds per minute, which is a little bit slow for SMGs. That's historically accurate. It's still a pretty reasonably good feeling number. There's not too big a delay between shots, but it's not a bullet hose. It's going to be slower than the Type 100. It's going to be slower than the Thompson, slower than the PPSH. It's a little bit of a chug-chug kind of gun. However, if you take all of those numbers that I gave you previously, math them out super quick, you'll find that the time to kill on the MP40 is 200 milliseconds for just the regular gun. That's your 3-shot time to kill. However, if you're running the limb damage technique to get the 2 shots for when you're, for the most part, kneecapping people, that's only 100 milliseconds. Both of these time to kills are quite fast. 200 is just generally fast for a Call of Duty game. I mean, that's like some Modern Warfare 2019, so maybe some old Modern Warfare 2 kind of time to kill, but 100 milliseconds is absurdly fast. That's getting shredded. That's getting deleted. That's killing people in a less amount of time than some of their connections will allow them to feel or see the bullets. They won't have any reaction time and they'll get totally blown up. So if you don't remember anything from this episode, just remember that the MP40 can be an absolute monster in time to kill with, obviously if you're running those attachments, but even without, still pretty good. So yeah, obviously this is the overall fastest TTK in the SMG class, excluding the Owen gun. The Owen gun is a little bit of a weird one. That's going to get its own in-depth episode, but for most normal SMGs, this is going to be the fastest TTK, and honestly, it's only a smidgen slower than the Owen gun. When it comes to range, the MP40 isn't particularly impressive. That max damage 3-shot range, or 2, depending on what you're using, is 0 to 15 meters. The medium damage range is between about 15 to 28, and then minimum is going to be 28 plus. Unfortunately, the class that I'm going to recommend is going to lower that range just a little bit, but that's the base range, and that's kind of normal for SMGs. SMGs in this game don't have fantastic ranges. When it comes to handling stats, it's got a fast time to aim down sights and a fast time to sprint out. 200 milliseconds on the ADS time and 167 on the sprint out. Both of those are quite fast for the SMG class and just fast for the game in general. They're pretty snappy, so the MP40 is a good handling weapon. When it comes to its movement statistics, it has perfectly average movement stats. It's right in line with all of the other SMGs, except it can strafe while ADS a little bit faster, about 4% faster to be precise. So you have a little bit of bonus if you're aiming down sights and trying to strafe and peek and check hallways, just not a huge one. It's not as powerful as the Sten, which is kind of a sidestep machine, but we'll talk about that in its own in-depth episode. The bullet velocity is 353 meters per second, which is the same as all of the other submachine guns. They all have this exact same number, so nothing unique there except the attachments we're going to put on it to kit it out. When it comes to reload time, its add reload time or bullets touch the gun where you can sprint cancel is 1.67 seconds, and the full animation, should you choose to go through it or just get bumbled with your cancel, is 2.6 seconds. Kind of like the Type 100, this is a little bit slow for the SMG class. It's not super snappy. You're not going to be able to jump right back into combat, so do be mindful and time your reloads appropriately. When it comes down to the weapon's recoil, mathematically speaking, it's similar to the Type 100, but the MP40 has a lot of side-to-side wobble. It's still good. I want to emphasize that. The recoil is still low, it's still easy to control, and it's still easy to hit people with at long ranges, but mathematically speaking, it's nearly identical to the Type 100. The Type 100 just has almost no horizontal recoil. This one has a little bit. So it's not as good as the Type 100, probably the second lowest recoil in the SMG class. So as you can see here, we've got fantastic recoil, fantastic handling. It's fast. It has a great time to kill. And in my opinion, there's nothing this lethal in the SMG class right now except for the MP40 kneecapper. The PPSH is a little bit faster on its 3-shot in your face, but the recoil is really high. The Type 100 is a little bit easier to use, but it doesn't kill quite as fast. The Owen gun can 2-tap people without attachments, but it's such a goofy gun with a slow rate of fire that just is so awkward. I don't think that very many players are going to be able to consistently do that. If you're looking for a gun that is the total package, it's got the damage, it's got the range, it's got the recoil, the handling, everything, the MP40 is going to be that gun. Even if in the near future the 2-shot kill leg setup gets nerfed, the MP40 will still be a very good SMG. It'll still have a fast time to kill. It'll still have a relatively fast time to kill compared to other weapons that have vital. It'll still have low recoil. It'll still be fast handling. Even after this inevitably gets nerfed, it's still probably going to be the best overall SMG in the game, and that's why I'm going to recommend it to you today. If you're looking for a go-to weapon to just pick up and start shrekking people with, and you can handle something a little more challenging than the Type 100, the MP40 is going to be your friend. Now it's time for me to recommend the 2-tapper knee setup, which is not the one that you've seen very much gameplay of. So you want to start off with the VDD 189mm short barrel. This is going to increase your limb damage. Then you're going to add the 32 round mags on there, so you get the +1 damage just for your everywhere regions. You do take a lot of downsides here, which is kind of annoying, not my favorite. And then we're going to be taking on Hollow Point, which once again increases limb damage, but at the cost of some range. Moving on to the rest of the attachments, I use the next to last suppressor, and I get obviously suppression from that, but I get +1 accuracy and -1 ADS speed. The +1 accuracy is going to be important later. I chose that to offset a different attachment. I use the Mark 6 skeletal stock. It's just a simple flat bonus, no downsides. I really love that. I really don't love the downsides in this game. When it comes to the optics, I actually kind of like the first one. I kind of like the NIDAR. There's a lot of optics you can put on this gun. I think the slate reflector is very popular. Honestly, the iron sights are really popular. They're good too. But my bread and butter, what I was overall most comfortable with, was probably the NIDAR while I was leveling this one up. When it comes to stocks, I like the very first stock. It gives me faster sprint to fire speed and faster overall movement speed, and these are going to be very important when I'm rushing up to people in close quarters combat and kind of kneecapping them. It does hurt the initial accuracy and recoil, which makes it a fair bit dumpier at long ranges, and if you're using this setup, do keep in mind it's going to be less fun, but that's not going to matter at the ranges in which you can two-tap people with the SMG. Then I'm going to be running the fabric grip. I get the -1 accuracy, which cancels off with the +1 accuracy before, but I just get a little bit of bonus to my ADS, sprint to fire, and hip fire recovery, so I get some, pretty good overall bonuses to all of my handling stats. When it comes to my enchantments, as I'll call them on this weapon, I run momentum so that I can very quickly reposition after getting a kill, and then I just run quick just to have a faster sprint speed. So the class that I've built here is designed for you to run really fast, get up in people's faces, blow up their knees super quick, and keep moving. This is not probably going to be the MP40 class that's going to be good come like March, or honestly maybe even late January here after it's been nerfed, but as of right now, this is a close quarters, fast time to kill monster that will just send people to the Shadow Realm, and I would encourage you to all use it and enjoy it while you can before it gets nerfed. Guys, that's all for this episode of In Depth. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out. If you want to get into the game, there's a much better way than green screening yourself into the lobby menu. So this Cyber Monday, everything on the entire website is going to be 25% off, with a few items here and there only being... And since these are kind of high-end headsets, they can go from $200 to $250. Saving 25% off could be like $40, $50 off a nice pair of headsets. So it's a really, really good deal.